Hey, what is up everybody? What is crack-lacking? It's your boy back here with another video. It's a different type of video, what can I say? I don't really know where I'm going with this video, but I want to do this new thing where I called History Lessons with X2COOL360. Now, of course, I just want to say thank you to all the people that have been supporting me over the past month. It's been phenomenal for me to be able to do this because honestly, doing YouTube has been such a huge passion of mine that I really feel like I've never gotten to express on what I wanted to do with it. But really, with everything else out of the way, I'm really happy that I'm able to do this stuff. And although my uploads might not be consistent, I'm so glad I'm able to get videos out to you guys because it honestly really does mean a lot to me that I'm able to do this type of stuff and that there are people that really do enjoy my videos. But with that out of the way, we can finally get on to it. But what are we talking about today, you may be asking? We're going to be talking about World War I and World War II and why World War II shouldn't overshadow World War I at all. Now, if we're talking about both World Wars, it's a good reason on why tons of people talk more about World War II, because if you literally ask anybody about World War II, they're going to be like, oh yeah, the Germans started that. And a bunch of people got involved. You could say the same thing with World War I. I mean, like, other than the fact that people were like, hey, we got a bunch of new experimental weapons. Let's try them out. But you have tons of pop culture that have spouted from, you know, World War II stuff, but you have World War I over here sitting all lonely. He's like the weird kid at the lunch table that everybody makes fun of because nobody knows what the fuck he does. Hey guys, can I please be invited to the birthday party? I really want to. World War I? More like stupid. Yeah, high five Vietnam. But that's really how it goes, because you have games like Call of Duty, the very first one that ever got released, and went up for like 6 other Call of Duty games that were set in the time period. You have Battlefield, you have so many other things that I'll probably put up on the screen, or probably not because I'm too lazy to edit it in, and I'm not reading off a script because I'm a lazy piece of shit. But if you look at other stuff like video games and movies, I would much rather see World War I video games and movies. The only reason why people do more World War II stuff is because it's a hell of a lot easier to do, because if you were to do realistic World War I games, they would be boring as shit. I mean, look at Battlefield 1 for example. That's more of a World War II shooter than it is a World War I shooter in any circumstance. Yeah, there's not Nazi Germany, and it's just the Empire of Germany, but it's more or less a World War II shooter, because if they were to do a realistic World War I shooter, all you would be doing is sitting in the trench for at least a couple days, and they'd be like, oh hey, it's time to go out and get absolutely slaughtered on no man's land. But honestly, I would much rather see tons of World War I stuff, because in my opinion, World War I is way more interesting in so many ways. Don't get me wrong, World War II is a very, very interesting concept when it comes to history and whatnot. There's a lot of interesting and good historical material there. But I feel like World War I gets really, really overshadowed with the amount of stuff that there is with World War II. And if you haven't really checked out anything about World War I, go and do it. It's really good to read about that type of stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know of that I know of now, and I'm really, really glad that I actually got to that point where I was really interested into learning about what happened during that time period. So yeah, I really suggest, if you haven't really read into World War I, read books, watch movies, watch YouTube videos, because it is one of the most interesting times in history from the start to the finish. Because you have tons of experimental weapons like, oh, you know, war crimes like mustard gas, or the experimental weapons like the Hellriegel that there was only like 2 ever made, and they said, nah, fuck that shit, yeet fam, we don't need that shit. They're like, nah fam, nah, we don't need that shit, nah, we're gonna stick to our shitty old weapons, bolt action weapons that everybody uses and breaks down every 5 minutes. Yeah, but just thinking about World War I in a certain extent to World War II, you have all these sappy ass America comes and saves the day in these World War II stories, but in World War I they're like, nah, America, what did they do other than just join last minute? When America came, everybody was like, oh, we're tired. We're so hungry. We can't do shit because we're so hungry and so thirsty, and we're just wore out. And America's like, hey, buddy boy, we're sending in more troops. And they're ready to fight because they're Americans. But yeah, but you have tons of stuff in World War II where they're like, oh yeah, this is pretty interesting. Let's overshadow the First World War. I mean, there was so much stuff that went on in the First World War, if you really think about it. You know, you had the communist revolution in Russia. You had the Irish literally rising up against their British overlords. So much history that happened. In Portugal, they were just Portugal. They really just kind of sat around on the Allies side for like 50% of the war. I'm just kidding, Portugal. You probably did something. I just haven't really researched it. Please don't be butthurt, I'm sorry. As I said, if you haven't really researched anything about World War I highly suggest doing it because it's so worth it. Please do. It's really good. It's really good material to learn. And it's fun. It's fun to learn about. I mean, like, look at it. They had lobster armor. You ever hear of lobster armor? Probably not, because who makes lobster armor? 20th century Europeans, everybody. Not even that. They had tons of terrifying stuff that went on. Like, could you imagine being this, like, 16, 17-year-old kid and just being drafted? He's like, oh yeah, it won't be too bad. Like, we just had a war in Europe, like, I don't know, 40, 60 years ago with Napoleon, and we're just gonna stand in lines and fight. Nah, bitch. There's gonna be tons of explosions, the limbs are gonna be flying off, there's gonna be barbed wire everywhere, your friends are gonna be dying in front of your eyes, you're gonna get fucking post-traumatic stress disorder, as they said, whatever it's called, because you're gonna be terrified because post-traumatic stress disorder wasn't really a thing because people thought you were just trying to be a baby to get out of the war, but really it wasn't. And it was just horrifying. It was horrifying. It was horrifying, okay? Okay? And this hasn't really been a history lesson, has it? I've just been spouting about and ranting about how World War I is really overshadowed. Yeah. Anyways, let's move on to World War II. World War II, I think everybody knows about. I mean, there's a little bit of things here and there that nobody really knows about because it's like, oh, there's these things that did happen, but they're not really memorable, I guess I can say in a way. But you know, you have like stuff like D-Day and the invasion of Poland and stuff like that. That's extremely notable stuff in that period of time. But if you really think about like the stuff that happened in World War I, none of that even comes close to half the stuff that happened in World War II. So, I mean, like, it's a 50-50 thing, but yet it's still history, and it's still a thing that everybody should really be interested about, because, as people have always said, history is doomed to repeat itself. Remember that, people. You think those people are fucking stupid or something? Nah, bitch. It's true. It's true. It happens all the time, and it's actually horrifying. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end this video off here. I don't think it's gonna be a really long video. I've been recording for almost 10 minutes now, and I just kind of want to talk about stuff that I wanted to talk about. Just some concepts I kind of came up with, and I was like, hey, why don't I do a history video? Because I'm absolutely in love with history, and if you guys really like this stuff, let me know. I would love to do more and talk about more historical stuff and whatnot. Just let me know. And yeah, I'm gonna end the video off here. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and if you want to see more, let me know, and I'll catch you all in the next one.